I'm Amanda Keathley. I'm the Marketing Executive for the Sales Club. Welcome on board, everyone. I'm going to be writing up notes today, so there's no need to take notes. I'll put an executive summary online, and also we'll be making the slides available for everyone. So this is a social media webinar. It's a very much requested topic, very topical, and Carrie Bedingfield here has got lots of expertise in the area, and also she's picking out very important, relevant parts for salespeople, some very good tactics for you to use. So I'm going to hand over to Carrie now, and I hope you enjoy the session.
Hi everyone, I'm Carrie Bedingfield. I'm the Managing Director of One Fish Two Fish, and I'm the Marketing and Social Media Expert Member for the Sales Club. I'm also a sales person myself. That's a big part of my job. So I know exactly what it feels like to scratch my head about social media, wondering how to make it work for me and not bring me to a grinding halt. Social media is about two core things. It's about building brands and it's about connecting people. Now I'm going to assume that as we're all salespeople here today, that your marketing function has broadly got the brand part under control, and that you're interested in the sales part, which is about connecting people. I'm also assuming that we've got a variety of people here. We've got some people who are directly selling day to day, and we've got some people who are managing sales people. We've also got people who are selling direct to businesses, and also people who are selling direct to consumers. There's kind of a mixture here, but the principles I will give you should broadly apply to all sets of people, and where possible I'm going to make that distinction to make it clear which applies to which. So given that your marketing function should broadly have covered the brand part, we're not going to run through social media tool by tool. I'm assuming you know quite a bit about it already. It's probably something you're already pursuing. And instead I'm going to give you 5 tactics for real salespeople doing real selling day to day. I want to give you 5 things that you can go away and do tomorrow. So what we'll cover is we'll cover the power of one, so how social media can make you pinpoint accurate. We're going to cover being the expert, so how to have an opinion and make prospects take notice. We're going to cover being the hub, so flaunting your network to be the person to speak to, and using social media to build trust with information and offers. And finally, what not to do, so how to avoid being the blatant social networker. In terms of interactivity today, you can use the question function to do 2 things. If there is a technical issue, for example, if you can't hear anything, then you can use the question function to raise that, and someone will pick that up and answer it separately. If you want to ask a question, then you can also do that via the question button as well. So if I'm talking about something and you'd like some specific clarification before we move on, then use the question button. That's great, and if I can pick it up, then I will. And at the end, I'll cover 3 or 4 questions, and again, you can use that question function to pose your question. I'll pick 3 or 4 that are most relevant to all of us. So first of all, let's look at the role of social media in the buying cycle. So we have a chain here, 3 stages. The first is being found, the second is nurturing those leads, and then the final is making it easy to buy when people are ready. So what I'm trying to do here is set the scene before we go into our 3 areas. And if we look at which social media to use at each stage of the cycle, first of all, being found. This is about building links, pushing your Google rank higher. As a salesperson, you have a specific role to play in doing that. It's about leading people to your site and also monitoring what other people are saying. Nurturing leads. This is about building thought leadership and credibility, having an opinion, engaging with potential clients and suppliers, nurturing warm leads until they're ready to buy, and finding out what other people are saying about you. There's a theme here. And finally, understanding how people want to buy and making it easy via the web for people to come to you and buy something or raise an inquiry or open that dialogue. And that means clear calls to action everywhere on the web and everywhere in social media, and also using registrations and downloads to turn invisible prospects into visible people that you can contact and open a dialogue with. So that's broadly the scene. That's where social media fits in the online buying process. And if we jump into our tactics, first of all I want to talk about is what I call the power of one. This is a nice easy one to kick off with. You're probably doing something similar already, but I'm going to show you how to make this very systematic. We often think about social media as a way to reach the masses. So our feeling is if we hit enough people, we might get lucky. If we proliferate enough places, we're out there everywhere, we're bound to pick up something useful. And social media kind of fools us into that because it's all about volume. There are so many different tools. It's all about how many people can we link in with, how many fans can we have on Facebook, how many followers on Twitter. And so it's quite counterintuitive to think of social media as a very personal connection tool. But I'd like to turn that thinking on its head. And social media really is a great way to communicate at absolutely the right time with individual people. So it helps us to find the people and then use social networking to make certain we're in the right place at the right time and to send a very personal message. So let's look at how this works in practice. It's a very fluid job market. People move around, and one great relationship can unlock a huge amount of potential business as that person moves from company to company. And on average, people have around 6.9 jobs in their life. That's only going to go up. As Generation Y fully comes into the workforce, it's already here, it's moving its way up. Those people want to build a portfolio career. And every time somebody changes job in your network, there is a potential opportunity. And it's one of the most powerful transition points in that prospect-client relationship. And LinkedIn is absolutely perfectly primed to help us take advantage of that. So how do we do it? Before we talk about that, I want to show you an example. I worked in a consultancy, and one of the things we sold were individual online tools. And I was a salesperson, and one day somebody called up from a company called Energous and said that she'd been looking for a tool and she'd found ours online and she wanted to talk about using it. And she bought that tool and it cost her £70 and she used it for one individual. That account grew to about £500,000 pretty rapidly, and she then moved on to British Airways Terminal 5, and via LinkedIn and via various social media we kept in contact with her. We knew exactly when she'd arrived because she popped up on LinkedIn. We made contact, she took us there as well, and she spent another £500,000. She then went to UGS, same again, saw her pop up, kept in contact, used LinkedIn to know exactly when she'd arrived, and again she spent another £500,000 at UGS. Now this isn't unusual. There are plenty of organisations who use that kind of client movement and transition to track new business, but the point was that we use social media to make that really simple and easy. We don't always know when people are going to move, and as they drop off the radar, it can be quite hard to find out where they've gone and where they've popped up again. And by the time you have heard, often it's too late. They've done their first 100 days. They've talked to new suppliers. So it would be shameless as a salesperson not to take advantage of LinkedIn in a very systematic way for doing this. And the idea is to link in early, so not just to wait until you think somebody might be moving, but to link in early and to communicate in an ongoing way, not just when they appear or reappear. So, for example, saying goodbye, saying hello when they're re-emerging, but also taking the opportunity to be in regular contact with them through LinkedIn. And if we look at how we might do that and other ways to leverage this power of one where we can know exactly what message to send to somebody at the right moment because they've flagged it on LinkedIn or via social media. So one is award wins, sending congratulations. You can use the like function, not just on Facebook anymore. So if people are flagging a post on LinkedIn or they've made an announcement, you can use the like button very easily to rapidly communicate or endorse or encourage relationships with maybe 40, 50 people in a single day very quickly without having to actually write them all a personal note. It's positive reinforcement of some kind of comment they made or in addition to that comment. You can also plug their content. So for example, recently a prospect of ours published a new version of a white paper. We genuinely liked that white paper, so I plugged that content all over my social media network, and a couple of people from that organisation, new people, then linked in with me and said thank you for doing that and did we want to meet, because of course they are tracking where their content's going. So if you selflessly promote their content, they will know about it and they'll be tracking it, and that's a really good way to build the relationship. Another thing I like to do is to flag a shared connection. So if I can see that we have a mutual friend, it's just another reason to go to somebody and say, oh, I see we both know this person. How do you know that person? It's anything you can do to build up that rope, add extra threads to that rope between you and your prospect, so that when you do come to ask them a question or for a meeting or something like that, it falls on soft, fertile ground. It doesn't look like a blatant sell. And how do you move from there to a meeting or a sale? Well, we use the old one fish, two fish classic pipeline opening line, which is, do you think there is a useful conversation to be had? I've been using that line for about 5 years, so if you hear it from me, you'll know exactly what it is. But it is a genuine, neutral question. I'm not asking, can I have a meeting? I'm not asking, do you want to buy what I sell? I'm saying, given the relationship that we've built up so far via social media, do you think there's a useful conversation to be had? Do you think we have? Do you think there's something useful that we could talk about? Is it good use of your time? Is it good use of my time? Really good, neutral question to ask.